Hello everyone, Rurikhan here coming at you with another video, and as you guys may or may not be aware, the Dragonflight Alpha has gone live on the 14th of July. I haven't really talked about it all that much because I've still been extremely busy creating content for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, and because also I did not get access to the Alpha, although honestly I don't really think that I was registered for the Alpha, and it's not really something that I'm particularly interested in going in to test because I actually, if I'm going to be playing Dragonflight to check it out, I want to go in kind of like as blind to story and quests as possible, but I'm still very curious to learn more about mechanics and stuff like that. So I've been checking out a lot of the interviews that have been happening, a lot of the gameplay videos that have been made, obviously by Bellular, Taliesin. Like a lot of people have actually gotten access to the Alpha. And there's a couple of things here that I thought were particularly interesting. Like one of the things that was very surprising was that Quasi also got access to the Alpha. I thought that was really cool because that means that Blizzard is actually willing to take on, to take someone in on the Alpha that has been extremely vocal and critic of World of Warcraft, which I think is someone very important to have in the Alpha of a product like Dragonflight. Someone that has been vocal about the problems that the product has. Because if you just get a bunch of yes men to go in there, it's like, oh, friggin' hype, let's go, then it's not really, it's not really a good sign. Now, they've also given access to Asmongold, to Bellular. I've seen Solso Breezy also had access, Mr. GM. A lot of people have had access to Dragonflight, and I've been watching a lot of that content because naturally I've been very curious as to how things are going. And now I'm going to be actually doing a bit of a series of videos talking about my thoughts on each individual thing about the Alpha. But before we actually get started with all of those videos, I wanted to point out something that I consider to be a bit of a negative when it comes to this Alpha. And that is the fact that I believe that very much like it has always been with World of Warcraft, and this was something that I was really hoping that Blizzard was going to take a different approach, but I believe that with every World of Warcraft expansion, by the time Dragonflight comes out, it is going to be a solved game. What does this mean? Some of you guys might have seen the video that Josh Strive Hayes did a while back about New World, where he basically said, one of the biggest problems of New World was that by the time it came out, it was a solved game because they gave people access to the entire game on the beta. So by the time you jump into the world, everything's already figured out. People already know, okay, I need to go from here to here to get this thing. And then, my progression is going to take me to this specific place to get this specific material that I need to get in order to do this specific thing. You guys get the idea. And if we go to Wowhead right now, let me actually just go in. I have a Wowhead page open, but, we'll just go in again. And if we go in here, you'll start seeing that we already have a bunch of data mine stuff. Here we go. Azure Span questline highlights with story spoilers. So you have the entirety of the Azure Span questline, which is currently the zone that is available for people to test in the Alpha. There's more. They've already data mined warrior skills and stuff like that, which they weren't even supposed to gain access to. I'm having a bit of a problem finding those, but it's because they've data mined it already so far back that the news hasn't even kept up, right? Look, Syndragosa found in Dragonflight, story spoilers. Well, for reals? No. So they already found Syndragosa. I mean, I believe it was already expected Syndragosa was going to be there. Where was the other one? There was more. Lessons learned, sepulchral 500 mount achievements. This was the stuff about the 500 mount achievements. Dragonflight talent feedback, Dragonflight loading screens. They already have loading screens already also. Data mine ducks, duck model data mining. People have data mined the crap out of the game. And this is what always happens with every single Alpha for World of Warcraft. It always gets data mined into oblivion. Now, is it safe for them to actually launch the game without it going through an Alpha process? And I know that a lot of people are going to say, Rurikhan, they need to do these Alphas so that players can give feedback. And it's you're not wrong. You're not wrong, but at the same time, I do believe that there's a significant discussion to be had with the amount of the game that is lost when such a process takes place. One of the things about starting fresh in a brand new expansion in World of Warcraft or any other MMO for that matter is the simple fact that, nobody knows what is happening. Everybody's going in there. Nobody knows what the quests are. Nobody knows what the progression is going to be like. Nobody knows what bosses to expect. And unfortunately, the way that they're doing this alpha, it looks like that is not going to be the case. So we have an interview here with Mr. GM, and in here he's talking about the the encryption of the client. So let's go ahead and take a quick gander at that. I'm going to pause the music here.
So this is a good one. So the encryption of the Dark Ranger stuff in 925, I got to say that was amazing. I do a bit of data mining stuff here and there, and there was just pretty much nothing in there. It was pretty locked down. I'm pretty down impressed.
Also, can I just say that in every interview, Ian Hazzikostas either is extremely caffeinated or on some kind of drug. I'm sorry, Ian, dude, but you need to get some sleep, bro. You just need to go get some sleep, bro, because you're going he's expecting to get jumped at any time. It's like Andrew Tate. Ian Hazzikostas is combat ready over here. I don't know if you guys are following some of the Twitch drama that's happening nowadays. I think it's funny. If you look at Ian, it definitely looks like he's on edge the whole time.
Content, especially story beats.
That's our hope. I think it's a challenge. We know certainly there's an information hungry community out there that will do their best to pick apart and glean whatever clues about even things that aren't encrypted packages. But and of course we want to make sure that we are testing the content and getting the feedback we need to make sure that it's good.
Here's the thing, though. Why does the player base have to be the ones to test the content? That's the part that I fundamentally disagree with. And I'm going to bring up a Final Fantasy XIV comparison. I know that a lot of people are going to be like, oh, here he comes again. FF14 Andy, blah, 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 blah. Fact of the matter is, guess what? They showed us a couple of the Endwalker zones, but nobody actually got to go in there and play them. I mean, I guess some people played those zones in the media tour, but even then, what they had access to, there were no mobs, there were no events, there were no quests, there was nothing. The zones were empty. You could look at the zones. When you go and you watch any of the gameplay that is currently available for Dragonflight, these are fully fleshed out zones. And not just that, but we've seen, there's full story spoilers in the zone as well, which is really frustrating for someone like me because I want everybody to go in and just have the same experience as they go into the game, as opposed to just oh no, the game's already been figured out. Just go to Wowhead and you'll know the route that you got to take and the talents that you got to do. And you guys might be like, well, you don't have to go to Wowhead and look up all this information. Yeah, but there's a part of it that is lost when everybody already knows. Sure, there's going to be a small percentage of people that are going to play the game like that, but a majority of people, they're going to go ahead and they're going to start instantly securing the most important resources, the most important nodes, starting to farm that stuff out instantly to put it on the auction house. They already have routes set up for mining nodes for, what's the material? Flowers? I don't know, friggin', herbalism nodes, all of that stuff. They already have their routes already planned out. People already have routes planned out probably for skinning. For the Azure spend, going to be okay, we're going to loop around here, kill these mobs, skin them, loop around there, kill these mobs, skin. They already have, they're already working on this. They're probably already working on videos to post before the game is even out. Which, that is something that I find very disappointing because there's not going to be really, unless you're going to deeply look all of this stuff up, there's not going to be any kind of organic discovery of where these resources are going to be.
But boy, is there a lot to be said for just being surprised.
Yeah. Yes, there is.
Not knowing exactly what's going to happen or where the story is going to lead. And that's both, things like surprise rewards, it's surprise narrative pieces, but also even things like the way the final bosses in Sepulchre played out, not being publicly tested. I think there were separate tuning issues with Sepulchre as a whole, but that wasn't, I think, a product of not testing those bosses publicly. We tested Halandris plenty on the PTR, still maybe wasn't hitting the tuning mark there, but there was a lot to be said for just the experience of week one being able to go in and be no, there isn't a video I can watch, there isn't a guide for this thing yet, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Those things will come out, but if we can at least give that vanguard the chance to experience the story, the world, the content unspoiled, we want to chase that wherever we can.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be fantastic if you actually did that? Now, let's take a look at another interview that we have here. By the way, I'm going to be linking these interviews in their entirety in the comment section down below. This one's from Mr. GM. There's going to be a link, not in the comment section, the description of this video. There's going to be a link to this video from Mr. GM. There's also going to be a link to this one from Taliesin. And in here, we have kind of like the same subject being discussed. And like, you know, as Ian is saying, we want to maintain this experience for players. Look at what Taliesin has to say over here.
A relation to story, and it's funny you should mention spoilers with the novels. Actually, I wasn't going to, and it's something I managed to avoid quite a lot in the Shadowlands Alpha, but I couldn't not do every single quest in that zone that's currently available because I enjoy dragon riding so much, and that kind of like made me go around and complete it all. But I'm basically spoiled now for the entire story of the zone, and I know that is. It's becoming more of a common criticism of alpha and PTR and data mining in general. Is there any kind of feeling in the team that you might want to kind of, I mean, it would be pretty extreme, but, you know, I know there'd be a lot of support for literally hiding quest text in the alpha and what have you, and having the missions completed and things like that, or completable, but just wiping the text so there's not sort of story spoilers. That's the extreme end, but is there any kind of like appetite for that in the team?
I think there shouldn't be any quests at all. Why does there need to be quests? Why do they need to be testing quests? You're talking about quests that are probably like, oh, go over here, kill 10 boars. Go over there, kill 10 gnolls. Like, you're talking about this type of quest. Go over here, pick this up. Go over there, pick that up. Go over here, learn this special. Like, why? I kind of feel like, you know, you guys have nailed how that stuff works. You know, you've nailed the structure of quests. Why do people got to be testing out whether or not these quests are going to work properly? Can't you get like at least a team to test out if the quests are working? Like, literally what you should have done is like have almost no mobs at all in the zone. Like, if you're going to release a zone, at least have almost no mobs at all. And then just like, don't even have quests. Why? Why do you need quests? Go out there, test out the talents on some of the few mobs that you're going to put in the zone. Go out there, test dragon riding, test all of that stuff. And I know that some people are going to come in here and they're going to say like, oh, Rurikhan's salty because he didn't gain access to the beta. I don't care. Like I said, for starters, I don't even think that I was signed up. I don't care that I didn't get access to the beta. I care that the game is essentially going to be spoiled for a lot of people because all of this information is going to be on Wowhead day one of the game's release, which I think is a net negative for players in general. I just think it's bad. And it's going to get worse than this, as you guys will see.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those really interesting aspects of working on a live game, right? Like, how many other games do you play just on your weekend or whenever, where you go into it and like, oh, people have been playing this for months, and there's Wikipedia pages where it's all out there and there's plenty of guides and it's all kind of solved by the time the game actually launches. So that's absolutely something that we've talked a lot about in terms of the mystery and how we want to approach not just development on World of Warcraft, but this alpha in particular. So you might have noticed there was a recent update with 925 where there was a few surprises in it, right? There was an entire quest line that people had no idea was going to be there, with Lordaeron and Kalia, and you know, the introduction of some even character customizations like with the Dark Ranger. So that's absolutely something that we've been building towards, and you know, that you got to see and experience in 925, and we're really looking to expand upon that as we move into the future. That's definitely a part of development that we feel like there's a lot of opportunity there. You know, even just with Sepulchre, the first ones, and limiting kind of the raid testing and the raid availability there. We're talking about, okay, well, like, what did we learn from Sepulchre? Do we want to apply some of that and limit the raid testing in our raid even for Dragonflight? So certainly, you know, leaning into some more secrets in World of Warcraft, so that joy of kind of discovery is reintroduced in some ways, is something we're looking to improve.
Joy of discovery is the key word here. This is exactly what I'm kind of like striving for, and this is one of the reasons why I'm providing this particular bit of feedback, is because I definitely feel like joy of discovery with World of Warcraft has been extremely sabotaged by these alphas and betas and essentially Wowhead. Like, look, Wowhead is a fantastic resource when it comes to, you know, coming up with news to World of Warcraft, finding a specific mob that you need. But at this point, it's getting wild, dude. Like, look at this. Paladin data mine spell changes and talent tree speculation in Dragonflight Alpha. Warrior data mine spell changes. It's like, bruh. Jesus Christ, these are things that, you know, are not even in the actual game. You guys are just like data mining this information. It's just very frustrating to see that the whole game is already being figured out in the alpha stage. And you guys are like, oh, come on, Rurikhan, it's just one zone, bruh. Like, relax. It's not the end of the world. And it's like, look, the reason I'm even reporting on World of Warcraft still, despite the fact that it's disappointed me so many times, I might even do a video talking about, like, why do I even still care about any of this? But the reason why I'm reporting on it is because I would like to see it improve. And I kind of feel like the way that they're, you know, doing this particular alpha is not necessarily conducive to an improvement, because once we all get there, you know, the people that are going to be playing Dragonflight, you'll get there and it's like the game's going to be figured out. And here's how it goes, right? Phase 1, Zone Experience. This is the phase that we're currently in, I believe. The Azure Span, new race and class, Drag Theory Evoker, Dragon Riding, new interface HUD revamp, talent revamps, Death Knight, Druid, Hunter, Priest, and Rogue, Professions, Alchemy, and Blacksmithing. Full details on the following phases will be shared as we get closer to them, but here are the current plans for the zones. Phase 2, Zone Experience, the Forbidden Reach. Phase 3, Zone Experience, Forbidden Reach, and Waking Shores. Phase 4, Zone Experience, Forbidden Reach, and Thaldraszus. Phase 5, Zone Experience, Forbidden Reach, and Honoran Plains. Phase 6, all zones are expected to be playable. You know what this means? All zones, full quest lines, the works. All of the resource nodes, all of that information is going to be available. People plotting down the best routes to go farm specific materials. People plotting down the most efficient routes to, you know, to quest and to get the fastest amount of experience. And I know that there's going to be people out there that are going to say, Rurikhan, why does this affect you? You want to go in blind, go in blind. It affects me because it's like, if I'm the only one going in blind, that's like going for a job interview and having no idea what the hell you're even doing. You're just like, everybody's already researched and everybody knows the answers. No, actually, the better way is you're like going to an exam, but you haven't studied. But everyone else has already seen the questions to the exam. They know the answers. It should be a community experience. An experience when where the entire community is going in blind. Very much like Endwalker. Everybody went into Endwalker completely blind. Everybody went into the raids completely blind. Everybody went into Savage raids as they came out completely blind. And you guys may argue, well, after the first group of people goes in, it's like, it doesn't matter because people already start making guides and all of that stuff, so the second group already knows. The point here is, this is going to happen before the first group even goes in. This is going to happen before the game is even out. And that's just kind of like where I'm at with this type of stuff, and I think that this is definitely a problem that this alpha phase is going to bring. And like I said, guys, I don't give a damn that I wasn't invited. It means nothing. I probably won't have time to play it anyways because I'm creating content for Sunbreak. But I do want to create content for WoW, talking about some other points that I have that I've seen in these interviews and that I want to provide some of my own feedback on. But yeah, those are my thoughts on one of the problems that the alpha is going to reveal. Hey, maybe I'll be proven wrong. Maybe what ends up happening is Blizzard sets up a couple of quest chains, and then they'll save like some of the best quest chains to only be implemented when the game goes live, to at least leave some surprise in there. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to kind of suck if the zones are already fully explored. It's like, imagine you're this great explorer and you go out on your ship and you go out onto an island somewhere, and by the time you get there, it's like Dubai. It's already like all of the buildings are built and everything's already figured out, and everybody, you know, there's like a full city built there, and you're like, well, I guess I'm not exploring this because it's already been explored. That's the point. You know what I mean? I'm hoping that this makes some sense. Let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you want to know, if you want to get more content from me, subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, all that jazz. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay strong, stay safe. Peace out.